as you all know, that the cricket fans of the subcontinent, that is India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, we don't just call them fans, they are the fanatics of the cricket. And the United States has the luxury that those fanatics have been migrating in this country in the last 3 decades or so. So I see, and all of you do understand, that this country has a great potential to see the growth of the cricket. As you know, soccer was, like 3 decades ago, was not very popular in this country. And we have seen in the last 20 years or so how soccer have gone down to the small town cities. So we know that the cricket fans, the cricket lovers of India, Pakistan, subcontinent, Caribbeans as well, they live here. This is their new home. So we hope that Darren is going to present a plan that how he wants to take next steps in the growth of cricket in the United States. So I would like to invite the Chief Executive of ISA Cricket Club, and he's going to present us a detailed plan, what he foresees, what was his vision, and how he wants to take this particular league, ISA Cricket Club, and how he wants to connect with the rest of the leagues within the United States and outside the United States. So I would like to welcome Nawaid Isa.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for attending this small event. And everybody, again, I'm very happy to see when people are punctual and they show up on time, especially from my community. And that's give yourself a big round of applause on that. Right, Darren? Okay, so, well, I think my team has done a tremendous job in setting up the slides and plan for me, and please forgive me if I do not stick to that, because I tend to forget here and there, and I'll try to just speak my mind as I go, okay? So, well, as you all know, the initial program was to conclude this event at the Great ISA Cricket Club, the new floodlit facility where our first league is already going on, and we are approaching the conclusion phase of that league. You can see this is all for grab here, and people are looking at it. I think right now they are regretting, some are still hopeful. The idea was to do the final game tonight, but you have to cooperate with Mother Nature. And we thought about it, we thought the players would be able to survive somehow, but the family and kids who would have shown up there, it would be very hard for them to enjoy the game or enjoy the night in this cold weather. So we kind of and I want to officially apologize to a lot of fans, a lot of people who were initially invited, and then the program got canceled. But well, and then I talked to Darren. I said, Darren, this is the situation here, and but I knew that you agreed to come here to support us. That's a big thing for us, and I really do not want to jeopardize any of that. So we thought, we just shrink the program a little bit and welcome Darren to Houston, to ISA Cricket Club, and invite our captains and a few guests who have been very supportive of us. So eventually this program that it resulted in. Again, thank you so much for joining us here. We could not take you guys to the ground to show you the development on the ground, the lights and the wickets and everything there. And that was something really, really that we were all looking forward to take you guys to the ground. To, of course, when you do so much work, you want some appreciation and you want to take it to the next level and show it around and get some help and appreciation and encouragement and some ideas what to do forward. And from all of you guys who have been part and parcel of cricket in Houston, especially Khalid Bhai, Fayyaz Sarwar, and Kuldeep, and all of you guys who have been playing cricket for so long, I think you guys can be great asset, help, mentor to help us, support us, guide us, promote us. This is what I would expect from you guys. Even Nanda Kumar, I had invited him in my first program. Unfortunately, he couldn't attend that, and for some business, I think personal business, he couldn't be here. But he's the president of HCL, Houston Cricket League. With that, since we couldn't go to the ground, I want to show some clip of what we have, Darren, and all of you who could not have a chance to go to the ground, and Kuldeep is one of them, I think, right, Kuldeep? Okay, so that's why you're sitting with Darren. All right, so, okay, so guys, you want to start that clip just to just to change the ambience a little bit and they can get a feel of, what do you think? Is this the right thing to do? Okay. I'll beat any bit. And seriously, I mean, we know the lighting level, the height, the angle, the glare, the trespassing of the light, the pollution. One plan that we have, you want to put on that PDF slide? This is the ground, this is the field layout, and what we did was like a smaller version of a, call it architect is here. Light poles, pole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 poles. These are 2 middle poles to have like bleachers around the area and a main pavilion and bleacher area. So if you do the big event, you can do on this ground with this side bleachers. This is the area where we are. We have got a mobile home right now, but the idea is to make like a office here, then a concession stand, the restroom facility and things like that here. This is a very important deal. My kids would not come to this ground if they don't have this thing here. And he was like, my little one was asking me, do we have that ready yet? I'm like, not quite yet. How could you do so many big fields and not do that tiny thing? Okay, well this is something that is, I think this is a must. This is a must. The way these guys are crazy about basketball. And when they come here, they talk about cricket a lot, believe me. I mean, when the first night they were here, they were looking at the scoreboard and they were asking their parents, what is this? Why is it 3 now? Why is it 4 now? And I saw somebody explaining this to them. I was very happy to see that, because this is the way I believe to promote the game. And this would be a playground for the kids, and I've got a huge parking area here. It's about 400 spaces. I don't know if they will collide with each other, but 350 would be a good number. Okay, so this is our vision. This is where we're gonna go, at least, and I'm getting a lot of support from the community, from the local people, the local mayor, even the Richard Morrison. He's the commissioner precinct 1. I talked to him too. He visited the ground with me personally, one-on-one, and he extended the support whatever he can. Maybe help with the parking and whatnot. But I think we're in the right direction to take cricket. And I've talked to local schools too. I was in the city hall meeting with mayor and the city official and the school principal, the primary school principal, and Richard Morrison, the commissioner. All right, so this is how we are coming from. You know, this is what they think of cricket. Sometimes, believe me, this is what the level, as Amir was saying. You know, look at soccer, where soccer has gone in such a short time. Not really in a short time, but you know, the hard work and the pushing behind soccer has been so tremendous. And you see now soccer fields everywhere scattered. But look at cricket. I mean, cricket has got all kind of brain here, and there's a brain from Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka. You know, these are very smart people. But unfortunately, cricket is here where it is. I don't know why. Maybe Darren knows a little bit about that. But you know, I think there's a lot that can be done about cricket. It's a great sport. And so I was talking about that principal, and she offered me to come to the school and introduce this cricket, bring a bat and a ball and do a demo with the coach, and she will set up with the coach and the kids, and then just kind of like involve them, show them the bat and the ball, and this is how cricket is played, and then maybe you can do a show match with their team's name, like whatever name, maybe basketball name or whatever team's name 2 teams after their team's name and have a match, and they'll eventually land. And that'll take a lot of thinking, a lot of visioning, a lot of talking and efforts. Anyways, so with that, okay, I don't know what else I had. I had a lot of things, but at this time, you know, if I do not mention the members of my team, that'll be not fair. The team that I have is the most tremendous people that one can find, and they're highly educated people. They're talented, they're sincere, they're dedicated, and they're, of course, at this time they're all volunteers. But I'm telling you that without their support, this thing would not have been possible here. And then going forward, you look at this. I mean, I was on such a short notice, and I think you will appreciate what these guys have done here. To change finding a hall in Houston just 2 days before on a Saturday is not easy. So for that, I will have to thank Khan Saab as well. Thank you very much, Khan Saab, for providing this great hall to us, and it seems like it worked out perfectly. You know, the number of guests we cut and whatever was remaining is this pretty good hall for that thing. So talking of my team, all right, CEO is already here. Okay, well, you see, Rashid Wasi. I would want to invite him to stage to share the stage with me, and I would. No, I'm not going to give you the mic, so you can come. Rashid Wasi is the VP, and what a guy he is. He's I don't know how to say. I think he's a millionaire by heart. How about that? But he's upside down by the terms of pocket, but but he's a millionaire at heart. He's a great encourager. He's a great supporter. He's done all kind of work with me and with the team. Rashid Wasi, ladies and gentlemen. Arshad Sheikh, Director of Operation. Arshad Sheikh, I was telling you guys about. He's the one behind the whole project, and he's a great project manager. Never lets anything fall through the cracks. He would drop a few catches in the field though, but when it comes to organization, he's pretty solid. And thank you very much, Arshad. He's been very instrumental, very helpful, and very supportive, very dedicated individual. Thank you again. Adil Anis, you see on my right, Adil Anis, he's a team member. He's gonna be our co-director, if you will, or a director sharing with Faisal, depending on how things go. But Adil Anis is our tournament director, as well as on the media side. And he's doing a lot of things. He's set up Cricket HQ setup, all done by Adil. I did it, by the way. Okay, but he wants to clap. So we will have to just note who wants to clap and who intends to clap. Okay, so Adil Wasi again, ladies and gentlemen, and Sayyid Iftikhar. Sayyid is here. He's our team member. He's the owner of the facility, not the owner. Excuse me, sorry. He's the director of facility, and he's managing the facility, doing a great job there, and looking very, very sharp tonight. And well, one thing I want to say that when you go to the ground, Sayyid will be the first person standing at the ground. And no matter who you are, he would look at you and he would look at his watch and he's like, it is 8:34. I mean, if you guys show up here, what are you going to do? You think you'll win the match? So, and he doesn't care who it is, not even me. Just kidding. So, Sayyid Iftikhar, Riaz Uddin Ahmad, he's my brother-in-law. And he's a great individual. He's leading the marketing initiatives. He's doing a great job. He's a great bowler too. Where is he? Oh, okay, sorry. Man, look at him. Okay, so he's a great bowler. He's a very good bowler and a good cricketer. Sohail Isa is my brother, ladies and gentlemen. He was standing right here, I think, in the inauguration. I remember he was moving with the camera. And the camera clip that you saw, it was all his effort. Very good technical person. And Amir Beg, you saw he started the stage, and Amir Beg is here. And by the way, these are all very, very functional, very professional individuals in their field. They're in IT, they're in marketing. Amir is a DPA. Rashid is with the Houston School District. He's a network architect, engineer. These are managers here with oil and gas industries. And he's the consumer of oil. Sayyid Zaghari. Okay. Mahmood Rashid, not to name him would not be fair. Mahmood Rashid is a great friend with a great sense of humor. So if you're sitting with him, he'll make sure you're not bored. Yeah, he's like, my wife is saying something. Come on, say it. Come on, go ahead. Okay, Ranjit Nair. Ranjit, I'm very happy to have him. He's a new addition to our team. And he's been very helpful in a short period of time that he has been with us. He has done great things. Of course, made me pay a little bit of bill here and there, but other than that, he's a great individual. He's helping us. He's on time. And well, I didn't see Faisal's name. That's who made this slide, man. Muhammad Faisal. Okay, Muhammad Faisal is a cricket lover, and he runs a league here in Houston. He's been running league for like 7 years now with the softball, and he's been very active. A lot of people, almost everybody knows him. And he has helped us in this current league tremendously. Okay, so this was the introduction of my team, and if we can move forward, I think I covered these the vision, what we have to promote cricket, how we can do it, and I think Darren and I talked about how we can address this area here, because umpiring and coaching is lacking way behind. Devin cannot travel all across U.S. You see, so it's a lot for him, and Myron. So we have to work on it. We'll make some plan to train some local kids to do that. Cricket Academy, a lot of people are talking about this. Gentleman from Pakistan Sajid Khan, and then Asif Mushtaba was here from Dallas. He's very interested. He thinks this is a great venue to start a small academy to bring kids and just let them, hit the balls and enjoy the game. Okay, well, that all summarizes to this. Server is here with us. I would want to introduce, especially because he was missing from the last event, Fayyaz Server. He's this individual. I may not have worked with him very closely, but I have heard a lot of good things about him. I have seen him very active in cricket, promoting cricket. He has been head of our local cricket league, HCL, as well, done tremendous jobs in that front, in that role, and I'm very honored to have him here, but at the same time I would like him to come here and take the mic and just say a good thing for him about it. I'm just kidding. Fayyaz bhai, please. Fayyaz Server.
First of all, I want to thank the hosts for having me here. It's been a while that I was absent due to my family obligations and work. It was very difficult to participate in this one. I was planning to travel, which got cancelled, and I think it was a good luck that I'm here. And this gave me an opportunity to see many faces that I haven't seen in a while. I often see them on the ground, but I think a couple of these guys here, they were kids when they started playing with us, and I always think they are in a wrong profession. They should be in movies or in Hollywood somewhere, I think, by the looks. Having said that, I think this effort and this result that you have seen here in shape of this ground that is developed, it was a dream. We have good leaders who have led Houston Cricket League and promoted cricket, but this was one of the things that was, you can say it was a deficiency due to financial or whatever reasons. We considered when we developed the KT grounds to have the lights on, but we were told by the county that it costs 80,000 plus to have the lights, and then once you invest, that becomes property of the county. So we were not in that position financially, but that dream has come through by the contribution, by the efforts of this group that was just mentioned here. I think the only event that was ever held in Houston Cricket League under lights was an Indo-Pak event that Kuldeep, who's present here, he arranged, and Indian and Pakistani team played. There was a lot of rain that night, but we carried on, and we didn't want to lose the opportunity because the lights couldn't be afforded second time. So now, I think once again, congratulations to the entire team, and thank you for this opportunity.
With that, since Kuldeep is here for the first time, so Kuldeep, would you please mind coming here? And are you sure? Okay, well, thank you very much anyways, Kuldeep. Khalid bhai, I want to hear something from you. You have been saying good things about me, I know, but you want to say something about the team here, and Darren is here. How do you like it? And by the way, Khalid bhai visited the ground with me this afternoon. I was trying to, I think, wash the water cooler, and I was like running around because it was so cold. I'm like, Khalid, let me go in the car, and he was like casually just walking like this. I'm like, you're making me so embarrassed. MashaAllah.
Well, thank you, Nawaid, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you. I must say that we have been playing cricket in Houston since 1980s. And Houston Cricket League has been a very well-recognized league in United States. We've been part of USACA. But we always had difficulties for grounds and resources, especially we could not move to a stage where Nawaid has done. I think if you visit the grounds, you will find that enormous amount of work has been done. And I'm sure that as time goes by, the grounds will be developed. The outfield still needs a lot of work. And everybody knows that the grounds takes about 3, 4, 5 years before they become to a level where you can invite international players. I think enough is said about this. He's done a tremendous job, and with the help of Darren here, we welcome you and we would like to hear your comments also. Now we will have two leagues in Houston, Houston Cricket League, and I'm sure ISA Cricket League. I would not call this an ICC because this will confuse me with the international cricket. But I think these guys, they certainly need to be applauded for a job very well done. Thank you very much.
He's here. He came all the way from Florida. We are very grateful to him. Darren actually has a very solid background in terms of cricket. He's a passionate lover of the cricket, and he actually was the business development manager of Western Australia Cricket Association. Before that, he was the chief operating officer of Perth 2011 World Sailors Championship. So he has under his belt a lot of experience, and this is exactly what the United States cricket need right now. We know about, the cricketers have been here for the last 3 decades. I would say that was, the recent migration started. But the issue is that the management in United States Cricket Association, there were some issues, and the potential that cricket has in this country has not been reaped. And I was going through and I saw that Darren has been selected after a really, rigorous recruitment process. ICC really wanted to take cricket to the next level. So they went through, they found who could be the best person who can manage, who can take the cricket to the next level. So we are very hopeful that Darren, he actually joined United States Cricket Association not too long, in February of this year. So he has not been here for a very long time, but with the help of the local cricket leagues like Houston is the 4th largest city of United States, by creating liaisons with the small cities. I think United States has great potential that we have seen in the last 7 to 8 years, that how IPL has grown in India. And I think that's the same type of structure, same type of tournament can be executed here in the United States, as we can easily find the top 10 cities within the United States where cricket lovers would love to come. And we have, as I said, we have the cricket lovers from subcontinent, also Caribbeans. So we would like to hear what Darren has in mind, what vision he has in order to really take the United States cricket to the next level. So I would love to invite Darren right now.
To come along this evening. And like Nawaid was saying, I was very disappointed that tonight's tournament was cancelled because I've been looking forward to it for some time. I spent a lot of time travelling. I was in Sarasota last weekend at the Sixers Festival there. It was a wonderful tournament that they run, about 750 at the final, watching that. I believe that with someone like Nawaid and the group of people that he introduced, that you too could be looking at those sort of numbers at your finals in years to come. Next weekend I'll be up in Washington, so I do spend a lot of time on the road travelling and getting around. And as was said before, my background in cricket goes back to, I started when I was 5, and I played A-grade cricket in Western Australia. I'm a premiership player. 1994-95 we won an A-grade premiership, so I'm not sure what it's like in Pakistan or Sri Lanka, but you have the national team, the state team, and then the A-grade cricket, so that was the level that I played at. And I was not a brilliant player, but I was very much a team player, and I was lucky enough to play with Justin Langer, and I played against guys like Damien Martin, so I played a very good standard of cricket. Played internationally in England and also in Scotland. But I then went into sports administration, and for the last 20 years I've worked in Australian rules football, I worked at the world famous WACA, and more recently I worked in the Olympic movement. I've done 4 degrees, including my MBA. And I've done all of this because what I'm really now, at my point in my life, it's now time for me to give something back to cricket. So when I was approached about this job, and it was about December last year that we were negotiating seriously, that was what I said to them. The reason that I came here was certainly not for my ego. If you were serious about being a big-time cricket administrator, with the greatest respect, you wouldn't be coming to America. Secondly, I wouldn't be leaving a well-paid job in a big mining boom in Western Australia to come to America for the money. So I certainly haven't come. I've come here to try and help good people like Nawaid and the people like yourselves to try and see what can be achieved. Osaka began in 1968, and for the last 40 odd years, we appear to be, as a sport, still trying to find our way. right at the moment what we have is a unique point in time, because I think that we have reached a point where volunteerism has gone as far as it's going to go, and I think you realise that too. So what I wanted to do tonight was to talk a little bit about where we're at the moment and what the vision is going forward, and then over dinner maybe you can ask me a few more questions. I've been in the job almost 11 months now, and what I've seen is a fantastic job done by some really talented people such as you've seen here tonight. The official figures say that there are 54 leagues and 35,000 people playing cricket in America. The research that I've done indicates it's closer to 78 leagues and closer to 50,000 people playing the game. So this has all been done on the back of volunteers, and you're right, it's been done on the back of migrants coming to America and bringing with them their game. And so that's the position that we find ourselves in at the moment. We've had Premier Leagues or professional leagues try to get started in Florida at the moment. There's a quasi, I guess you'd call it, professional sort of tournament going on at the moment. But they've all failed. And I'll tell you why they've failed. They've failed because there's no fan base here. What we have in terms of people that are in this room are enthusiastic people that love cricket. But the reality is, last year when the West Indies played New Zealand in Fort Lauderdale, they had 8,000 people there. 8,000. Not 80,000, 8. So even when we bring international cricket to America, we're the ones that go to it. If you go to what I would call my next door neighbour, who is a mainstream American, if I can say that, she wouldn't have a clue what cricket is. She thinks it's little cigarette lighters or what have you. So until we actually start to get the average American understanding what the game is and understanding why we love it so much, that's going to continue. So those professional leagues that we've talked about have failed because there is no fan base. And what I'm going to talk about in a moment is about how we're going to build that fan base. The second thing is, let's take the official figure of 35,000 people. How many people of those 35,000 are aged 19 and below? Have a guess. What number do you think? Anybody? 10,000. 10,000?
Yeah. 20.
20? 3,000? What if I told you it was 958? So where you're from and where I'm from, usually the pyramid of development looks like this. Lots of people playing at the bottom, and you work your way up toward the Pakistan or Indian or English cricket team, right? The pyramid that we have in America is inverted. We have 34,000 people at this end, and we have less than 1,000 below. Now the game's grown in the last few years by 7%, but what has it grown on the back of? It's grown on the back of immigration. And as you know, the US government is tightening up on immigration. So what does that tell you for the future of the sport in this country? This is the challenge. I go to games around the country and I see grown men, fatter than I am, less hair than I've got, out there running around playing cricket. And I see their 16-year-old sons on the sidelines, bringing the gloves out every now and then, and I say to them, does he get a chance to play? Oh, no, he's the team mascot. And how many weeks has he been coming down for? 3 or 4 weeks. And I say to these guys, and how many more weeks do you think he's going to keep coming down for? And they look at me and they don't understand what I'm talking about. He won't be back next year. He won't be. And I'll tell you why he won't be. My son is a very talented little 10-year-old, 11-year-old cricketer. He doesn't want to play cricket in America. Why? Because no one understands what he's talking about when he goes to school. What they see on TV is test match cricket with the guys walking around in their whites, and that's what they think cricket is. So what does he want to play? He wants to play American football, and he wants to play basketball, and he wants to play baseball. Why? Because he wants to fit in. And I'll bet you all have the same experiences with your kids. So ladies and gentlemen, when you're finished playing, when you're 40 and 50 and 60, when you turn around, there won't be anyone behind you. So we've really got to start to address this, not next year, not the year after, right now. Right now. So when I talk about the situation we're at the moment, the other big issue that I've experienced is the level of politics in US cricket is got to be seen to be believed. I know that we have people from all around the world. We have people from Pakistan, we have people from the West Indies, we have people from India, and we have Australians like me. We just don't appear to be able to work together. Now, that to me is one of the biggest things that we have to overcome. This country is built on immigrants. This country is the dream about what you can do when you can put aside your political and religious differences and work together. Now, has it been an easy road for Americans? No, it hasn't been. But the point is they've never given up, and neither should we. So when I look at US cricket and you look at, when you Google Usaka, it's pretty sobering reading. And these guys that get on the Facebook and get on the Twitter and think they're so clever, what are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're giving our game a black eye. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Because it makes it almost impossible for me to do my job. Almost impossible. I'm dealing with counties trying to get you access to more grounds. When they go on and Google this, what do you think they think? Do you think they want to come and help us? What about sponsors? How many dollars have we got coming in the door? This is the problem. This is the damage that we do and we continue to fight. We don't always necessarily have to agree, ladies and gentlemen, but surely we must understand that this is not your game. This is not my game. This is our game. And whether you like it or not, we're just passing through. We're only here for a little bit of time on this earth, and whilst we've got the game in our hands, it is up to us, every one of us in this room, to treat it with the respect that it deserves. Not as if it's your control or your plaything. And I know this sounds altruistic, but I really believe it. What I want to do when I leave my time here in America is I want to make sure that this game will be here in 50 years. I have to tell you right now, as someone that's been here for a year, I'm not so sure American cricket will be here in 50 years. Or if it is, it'll be what it is right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be a travesty, because you and I both know what a great and wonderful game this is. This is the second biggest game in the world for a reason. Because people in Pakistan, people in Australia, people in England can put aside their differences and actually achieve something together. I was asked by my board in March of this year what the biggest challenge was. And it's exactly the same today as it was in March. The progression from volunteerism to professionalism. That is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about putting in place structures and procedures for people to make sure that we capture 5, 6, 7-year-old boys and girls and help them all the way through. That we're recruiting for umpires. That we're making sure that our coaches are accredited and giving good experiences for our kids. Why is that so important? I'll tell you why it's important. We don't have the luxury that baseball does. We don't have the luxury that football does. My son's experience in football and baseball this year was unbelievably bad. The way his coaches spoke to him, I could not believe it. The American attitude toward, at 9 years of age, you're a superstar. They televise Little League Baseball. Are you kidding me? But that's the American view of life, right? That's our opportunity, because if we can make sure that our coaches give our kids a good, fun experience where everybody gets a chance to play, I can tell you now, people will come and get involved in our game. My son played football. I know I keep talking about my son, but I'm using this as a father. 10 years of age, he played one position, tight end. The ones where they just stand pushing all the time? Why didn't he get a chance to play quarterback? Why didn't he get a chance to play running back? Why didn't he get a chance? When he plays cricket in Australia, after every over, they rotate. So everyone gets a chance to be a wicketkeeper. Everyone gets a chance to get a bowl. You have to retire after 25, all those sorts of things. Why do we do that? Because how do you know if you're going to be a good wicketkeeper unless you actually get a chance to have a go at it? And how do you know if you like batting unless you get a chance to bat? You know what I'm saying? The American system is not set up that way. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our opportunity, because we know how to run development. We know how to do it properly. So if we can put down our bats and balls and stop hitting each other for 5 minutes and actually work together, I think we've got a big opportunity in America. And I honestly believe that. I really believe that. So what are we going to do in 2014? This year we've achieved a great deal. We've undertaken a governance review. We've done a lot of hard work, as you saw in the international stage. And this year we didn't have a lot of choice. We had 4 international tournaments that we worked on. And I want to acknowledge Kuldeep. Kuldeep Patel is one of our 5 national selectors. And frankly, Kuldeep, it's a thankless task. we don't have the money to fly Colep around the country. We don't even have the money for him to drive, for me to pay for his petrol to fly to drive to Dallas or up to Austin or wherever else he has to go. So anything that he does is on his own dime. He's also a professional guy like many of you, so he hasn't got the privilege of being able to come out of work and go on the road. So he does the best he can. And there's 4 others just like him, including the chairman, Sel and Caesar. But these guys do the best they can. We don't have the money to be able to get the guys together and have camps and all the things we'd like to do, but we do the best we can. But ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw in Dubai should speak volumes to you. That doing the best you can is no longer good enough. We went into the ICC T20 World Cup qualifier, seeded 9th out of 16th. And where did we finish? 15th. We beat Denmark. Hip hip hooray. Okay? Now, I'm not being critical of anybody. I'm not being critical of the players. I'm certainly not being critical of Robin Singh. But what it tells you is that Hong Kong, it tells you that Italy, it tells you that Namibia have all gone past us. So we have got a lot of work to do. And do we still need to look at the players? The average age of our players was between 32 and 34 years of age? No. Where's the answer? It's in our youth. And we've got to now move from being volunteers to being professional. And this will be a real test for USACA, because what I'm going to recommend in 2014 is that we have a youth policy. That we pick a team of young guys, and with our women's team, with young girls, and you know what? They're going to get beaten. They're going to get absolutely thrashed for a couple of years. But if we keep them together, and if we teach them how to train properly, and how to hold their nerve, and how not to try and swing for the bleachers every ball, but understand that you need to build in innings and hit the singles round and all those sorts of things. And if you're wasting dot balls, being mature enough to get out, yes, get out. You're much better off in T20 getting out if you're consuming dot balls than trying to bat and at the end of 20 overs you've made 30. That doesn't do the team any good. These are the things we need to teach our young people. T20 is an incredibly strategic game, and what we got shown in the UAE is that we don't know how to play it very well. So these are the challenges that we need professionalism and we need people to start thinking about, and we're not going to get it from well-meaning volunteers. So what's on the horizon for 2014? Well, the first thing is we're going to try and grow our juniors. So there's a program that if you're not aware of it, please tomorrow have a look at USACA.org called Cricket Let's Play USA. It's a development program which will go for 6 to 8 weeks, and it's going to be trialled in New York and also in Florida in 2014. Has there been junior cricket done here before by the US YCA? Yes, they've done a very good job, but they haven't done a development program. What I'm talking about is going into schools for 8 weeks and teaching the kids, and most importantly the teachers, how to teach cricket. Why? Because we won't be back in 2015. If we've done our job, the teacher in 2015 will keep the cricket program going and they will teach. It's about teaching people how to fish, because we don't have enough staff to be able to do this week in and week out. And once we've done it in New York and Florida, we'll look to places like Houston and start to roll it out here. But Nawaid, if you want to start to do this year, in 2014, we have full resources that we've made. DVDs that are made for the teachers that explain what the game is and then what each drill is. There are 8 different drills explained in simple terms so that any teacher, whether they understand cricket or not, can do that. Our objective is to try and get between 3,000 to 5,000 new kids playing the game. Now, when you consider that we don't even have 1,000 now, that's a pretty big effort. So that's one of the big things that we're focusing on in 2014. The second thing we're focusing is on the youth. We don't have a lot of money, so we are looking for people to get behind us, but it's time to bite the bullet. At the moment, our youth program begins at under 19. Now, if you have kids, you'll know that kids make their decisions as what sport they're going to play when they're 10. So not a lot of good at trying to convince an 18-year-old to come play cricket. We've got to get them while they're younger. So Cricket Let's Play USA will start to do that. We will put in place in 2014 an under-15s and an under-17s program. Now, what it's not going to be It's not going to be academies where we've got people out there trying to make money. And it's not about winning nonsense tournaments that mean nothing. Okay? There are too many tournaments in the US at the moment where people say they want a medal and we all beat our chests about it. Great that you're playing a tournament, but ladies and gentlemen, you do not learn cricket in a tournament. If you can't bowl an outswinger on Monday, unless you are a superstar, you're not going to be able to bowl an outswinger by Friday. Okay? You need to actually work for 3 to 4 months with a coach every night on a Monday night or whatever it is, and learn how to bowl the outswinger or how to bowl the leg spinner or whatever it might be. So what we're going to put in place are serious development programs in each areas. And we're going to be looking for coaches, which we won't be able to pay, so they're going to have to be like Kuldeep and be volunteers. But we're going to put these programs in place. But here's what we're going to do. For the first time, we're going to be part of the Amateur Athletic Union Junior Olympic program, which is going to be in Des Moines, Iowa on the 22nd of July. So we're going to have cricket involved at the Junior Olympics at the under 15s and the under 19 level. So we're going to give our kids something to strive for. So these are the programs, and you'll notice that what we're trying to do is to work with an established American sporting organisation, the AAU, which has 28 sports. So that's the second thing we're going to be working on. The third thing I'm working very hard on is resources. I can stand up here and give you the most wonderful speeches, but you know what? Unless we have money and unless we have staff, we're going nowhere. USACA, you are looking at USACA. I'm it. It's me and my assistant Lisa. Well, this is a country of 309 million, ladies and gentlemen, and unless we get some staff, we're not going to be able to do anything. So we're working very hard with the ICC to try and get those things in place, and we're working very hard to raise money to try and put it into USACA. So that's another thing. The last thing, which is probably the exciting bit, because it's all very important to do that, is the national championships. There'll be an announcement made this week, so you're getting it first. But the national championships haven't been played for 3 years. You probably read during the year that we signed a 3-year agreement with the City of Indianapolis to host the national championships up there. And they'll be played from the 21st to the 24th of August of 2014. 8 teams will be participating in that, and from that the national side will be selected to play in the Audi Cup, which will be played in October. The Audi Cup is against Canada, and we're hosting that this year. It's an exciting time because part of what we're going to do with the national championships is to try and bring the US cricket community together. So on Wednesday the 20th of August we will hold the US Cricket National Conference. Anybody who is a member of USACA is invited to come along, and we'll bring guest speakers from the ICC, maybe the Pakistan Cricket Board or someone like that, to come and be the keynote speaker. But then we're going to have breakout sessions and sit down and talk about the issues that you're facing. The issues you have in the Central West region are very different to what they are in the Southeast region where I'm at. The New York region, their issues, they can't get hold of grounds. They'd love to do what you guys are doing. They can't even get hold of any grounds. So their issues are different. You go to the Northwest, they've got lots of money, and lots of great facilities. So their issues are how do they handle growth. So each of them are different, and that's what we're going to try and do. So that's one big initiative that I'm really proud of. The other one we're going to do is we're going to name at a dinner on the 22nd of August, we're going to have a night where we name the male and female US cricketer of the year, just like they do in every other country. So we're going to actually have an awards night. We're going to have a panel that will select the best performing male and the best performing female. And the last thing is on the 22nd of August, we've been working very hard, and I won't tell you who the broadcaster is, but I can tell you that the national championships will be broadcast live on national television in the US, with a chance for it to be distributed overseas. 6 hours live US cricket on national US television. So next year is going to be a very exciting year for US cricket. We're not going to solve all the problems, and we're not going to address all those issues that I talked about overnight. But what we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is together, you and I mean that, you and I, are going to take a step forward, because that's all we can do in sport. And we need your support to do that. I really encourage you to think about this, that in Perth before I came over, I saw some American guys. Okay, they were wearing helmets, they were wearing pads over in the corner of the field, and they were throwing around this ball. And I knew that it was American football. So I know that they play NFL in Perth, Western Australia. Do I care? No. Do I watch the results? No. Am I ever going to play it? No. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what cricket is in the US. So we need to understand that unless we truly actually go and integrate with Americans, and I'm not talking about colours of skins, I'm talking about people that are Americans, not immigrants. Unless we do that, it's going to be very hard to take the next step, and I'll tell you why. San Diego Cricket League Association had 8 teams 3 years ago. They now have 14. They're growing. Their issue is they have made no effort at all to integrate with the San Diego area. And so they can't get any more land for their grounds. Sounds familiar, right? So they've now gone to the city, who doesn't know who they are, and the city's view is like my view of those American guys running around in Perth. Oh yeah, I know you play, I've sort of heard of cricket, yeah, I've seen you guys running around with the paddle, I don't care, I'm not interested, go away. So whether we like it or not, the counties and the municipal bodies are people that we need. So we've got to start dealing with these people. Secondly, if we're going to get those financial resources coming in, we're going to probably be going to American companies to put that money in. How can Pepsi sponsor the ICC and does not put one dime into US cricket? How can that be? Because we are like that group of guys playing American football in Perth, and we have only got ourselves to blame. So when I say this, the biggest challenge we have is how do we make cricket a sport for all Americans? It's something that you need to take on board. It means that what effort are you making to involve people like the Mayor? I was so thrilled to see that you had the Mayor at your opening. Really smart move on your part. What are you doing with local kids to get them to play the game? Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to get every kid. You won't. If you go into a class of 30, you'll normally get 3 that will actually play for you on the weekend. But you know what? You've got to invest that time. You've got to start doing that, because when that kid comes, he or she will bring grandma, granddad, mum, dad, and all the other aunties and uncles. They've got money, but more importantly, they will get into cricket because their son or their granddaughter or their whatever is into cricket. So that's where you've got to put the energy and the efforts into. So that is going to be a big, big focus. You're going to hear me say it about 8,000 times in the next year, so I apologise in advance. But we have to make the game a sport for all Americans. I'll say this to you though, just to finish off with. It's been a really hard year for me, and I'm pretty tired because I've spent a lot of times, I've been to every region in the US, and I've spent a lot of time going around meeting with people like you, because how can I lead and how can I have a vision unless I actually understand how hard it is for you? I do understand how hard it is for you. I've done what you've done. I have been on the committee at Scarborough Cricket Club. I was the president of the Asthma Foundation of Western Australia. I've given a lot of volunteer time, so I understand how hard it is for you. I'm not going to be able to solve all your problems, but what I am going to try to do is I'm going to try and put in place the structures and the support that you need. And I'm going to try and give you advice where I possibly can. And slowly but surely we will build USACA to become a national body that can actually help you. How fantastic would it be to have a full-time development officer that worked in the Houston and Dallas area that you guys could ring up and say, can you please go and do some work in the schools? Or can you help us with our tournament this weekend, or what have you? That's the objective, and that's what we're going toward, but it's going to take time. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I wrap up my speech, I want to say this, that as tired as I am, as at times there are frustrating days in my job, as there are in everybody's job, it is nights like tonight, and it is people like you, Nawaid, that make this job so enjoyable and so rewarding. The job that you have done in getting this ground together and getting lights going is, quite frankly, first class. And I think you should all give yourselves a big round of applause. I'll finish by saying this. The job that we have in front of us is pretty difficult. And yes, soccer got going, but what did soccer have that we haven't? They had the World Cup. Don't underestimate the importance that the World Cup had for them hosting by getting soccer going. But what we have is we have a game that's much better than soccer. We have a game that is fun. We have a game that you can play anywhere. And you've got to try and tell people that, ladies and gentlemen. People say, oh, you've got to have a huge ground, you've got to have 11 players. Not where you come from. Okay, you've all played in the streets, haven't you? You've played with 3 people, you've played with a tennis ball. You can play cricket anywhere, because you know what? I played cricket in my backyard with me, the next door neighbour, and my father. That was how I learned cricket. So we've got to get the Americans out of thinking that you need 11 people. We need to also tell them that, even though I've got to say I'm very, very pleased with how Australia's going in the test match with England right at the moment. But we've got to stop them thinking that that's cricket. That's one form of cricket, and I love it. I'm loving it at the moment. But what we're talking about in America is T20, and you've got to keep telling them that. 3 hours, same length as a baseball match, 120 pitches, the batter tries to score, hit the ball over the fence, it's exactly the same game, but you know what? The ball's never dead, like it is in baseball. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Boys and girls can play it. You can play it if you're 6, you can play it if you're 66. These are the messages you've got to get out there, and hopefully, little by little, we'll start to get people to see the game that I've been playing for the better part of my life and what a great game it is. You guys are going to be successful in the next 3 to 4 years because you've not only got people like Nawaid, but you have a real vision and you have the determination to succeed. And with people like you, US cricket has every chance of succeeding. Thank you for the invitation to come and see me.
Got a lot of stuff in this speech. I mean, it's not just a speech, but a vision and a little bit of frustration. I could see that, and we have to admit that we are struggling. We are working on a lot of fronts. Houston has got tremendous talent and I think experience. Like as I said again, Khalid by Fayaz, by Kuldeep, by and all of these cricketers here. I mean, we have to see beyond ourselves here. As Darren said, winning the tournament, this is not serving cricket. To serve the game of cricket, to make it survive to the next generation, I mean, I think this is going to be a memorable speech that Darren will deliver here. We have to work with kids, we have to encourage them in any sport, and America is so vast open. It is widely open to explore, and we are way behind. We have to work together, we have to remove our differences, and I would say, people who think that they are done with cricket, I mean, you're never done with cricket. You guys are never done with cricket. Come back, come together, come with a great energy, great enthusiasm, and come back and let's work together to take cricket to the level, at least to the next level that it really, really deserves in this country. Again, thank you very much, Darren, for your time, and what a great speech and a great vision. Fayaz Bhai, if you would want to.
It's just a comment. I think I have given roughly 25 years of my lifetime to cricket in Houston as a volunteer, as a player, and as a president of Houston Cricket League twice. I have dealt with USACA, president, CEOs, and all that. This is the first time I'm hearing from a CEO who is touching the issues, who is realizing the ground reality. And until you know the ground reality and you just show the big dreams to people, you cannot be successful. So this is music to my ear, what you just said. And I'm glad that you are saying that. In my presidency, I was getting
Together, enjoying the evening, listening, lecturing. Some people are just waiting, come on man, kab khatam karega ye. And it's just, I think I can see it is more than that. It is really more than that. People see value. Literally, you guys are touching the hearts here. I mean, I can see in just like 2 minutes, Fayaz Bhai summarized this whole 20 years beautifully, and it tells you volumes how much he has already done, how much he has struggled, and how great a vision he had. So again, I would say this time is not over yet. You guys are not retired. We are here to help you. We are volunteers. These young kids sitting here, they're tremendous cricketers and they're great people, great kids. I mean, I love to see these guys playing the ground. They're like people sitting here in the back. And all of these people. Yes, sir.
Well, I think what you should do, what a wonderful job. Thank you very much, sir. बहुत ज़बरदस्त जॉब किया आपने हमारी सारी कम्युनिटी आपको शुक्रगुजार है मैं डॉक्टर नबी साहब आपने बहुत काम किया मेरे ख्याल में ऐसे करते हैं कि नेक्स्ट क्रिकेट मैच में हम लोग एक कमिटमेंट करते हैं अपने साथ what he's saying let me say in English so you can understand we will commit ourselves to something that each and every one of us go to our neighbors and with our children and their children play, pick up their kids. Let's bring them to the ground. Let's introduce them. There's other games than soccer. I don't watch baseball because I play cricket. I play all my life cricket when I was a kid, not now. But I think if we can take the children, Caucasians, Hispanics, African Americans, all those children with our kids, and that passion will come. Cricket is a game of passion. That's what I'd like to say. I thank you very much. You did an outstanding job in our community. And Dr. Nabi, God bless you. You brought this community very close to cricket.
Thank you so much. Look at this talent and the thought process behind. We all are hiding a lot of treasure behind us. Energy, courage, media people, they are willing to help us. Shamim Sayyed are here, Tariq Bhai is here, and other cameramen, I'm sorry.
Tariq, his name is Tariq.
Tariq. And
this guy is Jamil.
Jamil Bhai and Shamim Bhai. And Shamim Sayyed, by the way, Shamim Bhai's son, he's a great cricketer. He's in Florida right now. Great kid and young, energetic. We need people like that. They're already here. They need direction and energy. And I can see that we have vision here. I don't know what is lacking. Do you see what is lacking? I don't know. We've got vision, we've got energy, we've got dedication, and we've got energetic youth sitting here. We are here. We can be. You can come here, make a committee, head us, and contact any one of us, our program director, our facility manager, anybody. Just contact them, make a team, and then start working on it. And if we can take this away from this gathering, I think this is a win-win for us, and I think it's worth for all of you to come here, Darren and everybody, for traveling to this gathering and making this happen. So I'm very happy, very delighted, very hopeful.
I have a question or comment. Okay, if they're sending those over there, and if you see it was all hype in the media. So the reason I'm giving you the background, that if ICC pushed some button and sent a good teams over here in USA, and if that thing is in the media, so that will bring the hype over here. And trust me, whether you have 100 people or 1,000 people, unless in the United States is a business and it is a media, nobody will support you. So if it is in the media, like NFL and NBA is doing, if ICC does it, not ESA, but I'm talking about international. Okay. That was a joke, by the way. So if ICC does it, I think that's going to help us over here. Let's say they send India and Pakistan, or Australia and England. So if they send their teams over here, that's going to bring the media everywhere, and it will be more good introduction.
We're going to bring India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, in United States, teenagers, young kids, and involve our American cricket teams in there. And I think Dr. Nabi and I talked about it, and we did some work on it, and we still, this program is not dead. I like to involve, if my kids and your kids can go with the school children to watch football, to watch basketball, why can't we bring their children to watch cricket? And I think we can do it, and let's do it. We go to India, Pakistan, Australia, Sri Lanka, bring teenagers, under 15, to the United States, involve media, and just like our brother said, involve media, involve everybody, and particularly involve the political leaders, and we'll be done.
Good thoughts.
So just to answer your question, the first thing I really want everyone to understand is I'm not saying that it's all about kids and you don't worry about your league. You've got to do both together, right? So what I'm saying is, if the US team had made the World Cup, right, if we had finished in the top 6 and got through in Dubai, that would have been a huge catalyst for cricket in this country. And that's what I guess Kuldeep and I are so disappointed, because we have set cricket back probably 3 to 5 years with our performance in the last 3 weeks.
Do you think that was part of the selection process, or do you think this is the best guys that?
I think the selectors did the best they could,
Okay.
Considering. I think it was a flawed process because they weren't able to get around. Kuldeep and I were just talking about it. There's no doubt we probably missed guys. There's probably some decisions that were made that were not long term. Basically, remember, we picked some guys that were older because we thought they might be able to perform. You roll the dice when that happens, because the experience that you have in cricket, is one thing, but it could also, your body gives out because it was a 3-week tour, so we had a number of guys injured, including having to send one guy back early, those sorts of things. So, but look, my point being is that ideally you'd have international cricket here, because that way you get the kids, and the kids got to have heroes. Once they start involved in the game, you want them to look up to the heroes. But here's the thing that people don't understand, and when I first arrived here, it was my 4th day on the job. And I've had the biggest tongue lashing that I've had in 20 years in sport from the Mayor of Lauderhill, a guy named Richard Kaplan, and he just gave it to me both barrels. We've spent $11 million on this facility, and we've had the stadium in Lauderhill, and we've only had 2 international games here, USACA standing in the way and all this sort of stuff. And I said, let me just get this clear. How much work did you do with USACA? Oh, none. How much research did you do on the sport of cricket? Well, we got a consulting company in and we took their advice. But no. The City of Lauderhill, what research did you do so you understand the game of cricket? None. So here you are now blaming cricket because in 2008 you spent $11 million of taxpayers' money. I'm glad that he did, by the way. But you didn't really understand the game. I can tell you now, you're not going to get India and Pakistan coming here anytime soon. And there's one reason for that. The Future Tours program. The Future Tours program is booked 5 years out in advance. So Australia knows who they're going to play in 2018. And India and Pakistan, all these sorts of things are going to do that. So it's not like there's lots of easy games that are floating around. The second thing is, let's just say that, let's use the West Indies. The West Indies said, tell you what, we're going to play a one-day game. Instead of playing it in Jamaica and Kingston, we're going to play it in Florida. Dave Cameron, who's the president there, how much political heat do you think he would get from the Jamaicans if they lost their one-day game? So that's the second thing you need to think about. But let's just think about the third thing. I've been here almost a year, and for almost a year, I've been trying to have a partnership with the West Indies Cricket Board. We've almost had no relationship with them at all. I've been trying to sign a 3-year deal with them where they would help us with our coach education, help us with our umpires, but thirdly, commit to playing a game in America every year for the next 3 years. Because the game in Florida, the reason they got 8,000 people, you know how much time notice they had? 3 weeks. So they had no chance to get people from Houston to come, people from the West Coast. The people that went, by and large, lived in Florida. And that's why the crowd was so low. And that's not being critical of anybody, that's just a fact. Imagine if we had 4 months to build this up and televise it and to promote it, you'd get 15,000, 20,000 there quite easily. But that's what we had. So I've been working for a year with these guys. They have finally come back to me and said, the best we can do is we can give you a window of 6 weeks, April and the first 2 weeks of May next year. But we'll have to send our B team because Chris Gale and all the other guys are playing in the IPL. That's the challenge. I have been working my backside off trying to do this with our closest full member nation, and the best they can do is send me a B team that probably no one's going to come and watch. So it's not an easy solution. It's not impossible, because I think what you're realising is, what is the interest of the ICC in America? Think about it. If they could have a pie as big as India is, instead of having one pie, if you could have 2 pies, and all of a sudden they worked together and said, right, let's pick that game up, India versus Pakistan, and play it in the States. This is probably the only country outside of India where you can probably get 60 to 80,000 people that would come to that. So I don't think it's dead. I think that's what they're trying to work toward. But the thing I was going to say about that is this. At the moment, you can play international cricket in America anytime you want to. Okay? There's a group called Cricket Holdings America LLC, CHORK, okay, which is part of USACA. USACA is the majority stakeholder in that. They're trying to start this T20 competition at the moment, have been for the last 3 years, could get off the ground in the next year or so. So anyone that wants to play in America can do that. But here's been my experience. 2 nations that I won't name have come to me and said, we'd like to play in America. Now, USACA turns over $500,000 a year, is me and Lisa, and we lose money every year, right? Just remember that. So we get these nations that come to us and say, yeah, we want to play a game in America. We want you to write us a cheque for $1 million. I'm not joking, this is a true story, right? Then we want you to pay for our flights. All our players will fly business class. Then you'll pay for all our accommodation. Then you'll do all the marketing. And then you will take all of the risk on that. So how long do you think it took me to tell them that the answer was, thanks very much, but we'll be okay? Even with the best will in the world, I couldn't have done it. Because I don't have the money. I don't have any staff. I don't have any resources. Let me tell you this to answer your question, and it's a long-winded answer. And take this back to the people you know in other countries. First mover advantage. The first group that comes to CHORK or to USACA
that says, I want a 5-year deal, but I'm going to work with you to build this thing up from the ground up. I'm going to put money in. I'm going to help you market it. I'm going to help you do that. Is going to get great rewards. We're doing our part. We only had one ground that you could play cricket in America, which is Fort Lauderdale. As of August next year, we're going to have 2 in Indianapolis, and where I'm already working with someone on the West Coast. Why is that important? Instead of playing one game in Fort Lauderdale, wouldn't it be wonderful if India played Pakistan in Fort Lauderdale, Indianapolis, on the West Coast, etc.? The other thing too, from a commercial point of view, look at your demographic. Look at the numbers of people that are unemployed in the Florida region. Look at their average earnings. Do you know what the ticket price was to get into the game last year? $20 and $10. Very hard to make money if you're charging people $10 and $20 to get in. And I asked the question, how could you charge for international cricket $10 and $20? They said the market won't bear anymore. If they charge $40, people couldn't afford to get in there. Now that doesn't mean that people of Florida don't deserve to go, but what I'm saying, if you're going to make a commercial case to somebody and you say, that's all we've got to offer you, you can't make it stack up. But if you say 3 games in America where Florida's got theirs, Indianapolis, and then on the West Coast, say Santa Clara or San Jose, where there's lots of money, all of a sudden it makes commercial sense. So this is what I'm talking about, going from being volunteers and passion and enthusiasm to the business of sport. And the last thing I'll say is that the NFL back in the 40s and the 50s was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. The NFL has not been an overnight success. It has taken them 60 years to get where they've got to. Cricket can do the same, but it's not going to happen in a short time frame, particularly in this country. So we've got to be prepared to play the long game.
To make some comments. I have been associated with USACA since it started. I know what a mess USACA has been in the 70s and 80s and even 90s. One guy grabbed it as his personal property, I won't name him, and he was there for years and years and years. To answer the question that this gentleman had raised, as Darren said, it's all a question of having the appropriate resources and the infrastructure to do it. He has mentioned 3 grounds, but I'm sure that one of my friends is not here tonight. I represent him, Sahi. He is building another ground which will be of the international status, and hopefully one of these days, not tomorrow, not next year, but we will see international cricket in Houston.
Doctor?
But I have a suggestion to make. I don't know if you have investors who are looking into placing all these accessories of cricket, bat, ball, and pads and everything in major departmental stores like Academy or something in order to promote this cricket in kids. I think this is the most important thing you should be doing and promoting that.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, I'm really glad the way the discussion is moving. It has become like a sort of dialogue instead of a monologue, and which is a good thing. I think you guys agree that we're talking some serious stuff here. We've got a lot of work to do. Okay. Again, so. Did we have anything else planned here? Right. Okay, well, now let's come back to our current league, INC, Lisa Night Cricket League, that is, that inaugurated in September. Our program, as I said, was to play final today. Unfortunately, because of the weather, we had to compromise and we stopped at the quarterfinal stage. And we have our quarterfinal list and representation from almost all teams here. And at this time, I would go ahead with the small presentation, appreciation, up to I think the quarterfinals. So let's just start. What a match it was. I was there personally, and I was so impressed with the feeling that was exhibited by, especially attackers. Your players did a tremendous job, and I'm very happy that you all 3 from attackers, Tausif, Umair and Umair, I think they're here. but unfortunately they couldn't go through and they lost the match against Sugarland Wolves. And the MVP from Sugarland Wolves is Hamza Suhail. Hamza Suhail is MVP of quarterfinal. Hamza Suhail. Great job, Hamza, again. The next quarterfinal MVP is Praveen from Lone Star Cricket Club.
Greater Houston.
Yeah, I know, Ranjit is here. So Greater Houston versus Lone Star was a great game. Again, you saw some of the glimpse of the match. Praveen was man of the match, and unfortunately he couldn't be here for some personal reasons. And his captain and manager Ranjit Nair is here. He's a part of our team as well. So I would request Ranjit Nair to come and accept the medal and the check for. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure I'm in the background too. Ranjit. What? That's it? Yeah, that's it. Oh, no. He's my brother-in-law. Don't do this to me. Okay, the next quarterfinal MVP plays against Karachi Cricket Club. Karachi is the city that this guy is from, and all of us are from, most of us from. Karachi Cricket Club versus Karachi versus
MCC.
So why are you not saying it? I knew it. Okay, Karachi versus Mate Cricket Club, and I don't think we have representation from Mate Cricket Club, not because they lost, but I think they were busy. So, and the quarterfinal was a great game too. Riaz recorded it. Riaz Ahmed, MVP, is a great bowler by the way, and I think it's the bowling performance that's this award. Riaz Ahmed will be on that. I saw him. All right, thank you. Good job, Riaz. Okay, Chargers. Chargers are fourth quarterfinalists. They got to the semifinals, and Adnan as the you're not gonna get the end of. Don't worry. But come here. Yeah, give me this. Not the champion. Come on, man. Where's the quarterfinal one? Adnan from Chargers, the captain and leader of Chargers. Thank you, Adnan. I would want to appreciate and acknowledge our umpires too. I think Darren and Myron are representing Houston cricket umpires panel, if I'm right. So I would ask Darren and Myron both have been helping us tremendously. They show up on each match. They charge a lot, but that's okay. Devon, if you would come please and accept the. Devon, please come and appreciate it.
Thanks, Darren. How's that?
Myron is our next umpire. Thank you very much, Myron, again.
The very strict one.
I'm a professional.
Yes, sir. He knows his.
Thank you so much, Myron. I acknowledge that no ball.
How many no balls you gave for it?
Again, I want to thank you, our media partners here, one more time for the support that you're showing, and especially the thought process that you guys have for us. Again, John Shai Bhai, he's here, and no, Tariq, yes, Tariq Bhai again, and I do want to mention Waqar Ali Khan as well. I mean, he was supposed to. He's our anchor for a very famous program on TV. It's called Safir Pakistan. It's like representative of Pakistan, sort of in the folks here in USA from Pakistani background. He does a great show. He could be here. He was supposed to be here, and I thank him. And maybe next time he'll be able to join us. I said that so he can play my show. In the last inauguration, Fayaz bhai, I had a plate for you, and for your personal reasons you couldn't come. So if you would please come here and take the plate that we had prepared for you way back when. In appreciation of your support to cricket, to Houston cricket especially, and for coming out and spending the night with us. To have Darren Beazley with us. He has been very supportive. He would call me to encourage me, and when I was needing suggestions as to what to do with this program, and we are on this verge of almost canceling it, but he encouraged me. He took his time. He came all the way from Florida with a connecting flight too. So that was not cold there, and I wish I had something big here for you, Darren, but your thought and your speech is recorded, and we'll be looking to it again, and it's a very motivating thing, and please accept this token of appreciation on behalf of each of the respect to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll have a winner, and I'm not sure if you can have, based on what we heard so far, we will continue on having this promoting programs. We hope all of you will be here with us every time we do. There are some off the record photography going on. Okay. So again, thank you all very much. You can, I think I would say that start from ladies. Rashid is our
Thank you.
Okay, make sure you guys are all. Jamil bhai.
Backyards or their front yards or what have you. That's the first part of it. The next part of it is we need to build competitions on the weekend. It can be 7-a-side, 9-a-side, but for 8 weeks where kids on a Saturday morning, instead of going to baseball or going to basketball, are going to play cricket with their friends. And then once we do that, we then can channel those children into senior cricket clubs to come behind the adults once they've finished. Yeah, and I think that's what was so disappointing about the recent ICC World Cup qualifier, that we didn't take that next step and make the World Cup. So that's really set us back for the next 3 or 4 years. I think there's a lot of talent from what I've seen in Houston and Dallas, and so I think that if we can start to look now at the most talented 19-year-olds, and who by the next cycle will be 24, 25, that's where we've got to start investing in those guys. But again, we've got to have local business people, and we've talked about some guys that are making the investment here in Houston to put the facilities together, to put the coaching resources together, so that we can actually develop these guys and get them to play good quality cricket on a regular basis. Because that's what we found in Dubai. The difference between what they're playing at club level between international cricket is simply too high.
We have been talking for this floodlight ground in Houston for a long, long time. People were longing for it. We would talk in our meeting, in our living room, in our small gatherings. And I thought, okay, let me give it a shot. I contact park superintendents, heads, and mayors and other officials of the counties. I wanted to bring a rental light arrangement in one of the fields. And I couldn't get the approval. Okay, they would tell me that this has got this flood hazard, this has got this problem, this has got curfew problem. I'm like, the only way to do it is go ahead and do your own thing.
Finances कहाँ से आए अपने पास से डालें या आपको contribution मिले?
नहीं, मुझे ये सारा मेरा अपना finance है.
इतनी मोहब्बत क्रिकेट से आपकी?
हाँ, उसकी वजह अब उसके लिए अब आप ये ना समझें कि I'm a millionaire and I'm putting some chunk of it. It's like everything that I had. I mean, my family, my wife, she cooperated with me so much. Without their support, I couldn't have done it. Saima is sitting right there, but she did a great job in supporting me, and I put my own money. And then my friends came along, and they chipped in whatever they could. And now I'm at a phase where I have brought it where I could, personally. Now from here, we need the help of community. We need people who love cricket and support us. Don't give me money, okay? Just come in and do whatever you want to do on the ground.
In Houston, there's a lot of opportunity for this game, and there's a lot of passion. So I'm blessed to be in Houston. You know, it's a part of a big community. So as we were, learning everything, we also used to play cricket. Actually, just like Darren Beazley said, it's more into our youth program. So we're gonna try our best to get our kids involved. My kid is 10-year-old, so I'm gonna put him, and hopefully if we have some academies or something. So I would love to bring him in the academy and get him to be involved with cricket. No, they never came, but they always supported me. It's not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.